In the back of a small furniture shop, there was a tall wooden chair named Charlie. Charlie was plain but strong, with smooth curved arms and a tall back that reached like a tree branch. His wood was polished to a soft shine, though dust had begun to settle in the corners. Every day, Charlie watched customers come and go. They chose shiny glass tables, colorful velvet couches, and rocking chairs that creaked in just the right way. But no one looked at Charlie. Some said, "Too tall." Some said, "Too plain." And some didn't notice him at all. Still, Charlie waited patiently. He dreamed of someone who would see him and say, "This is the one." Someone who would sit, swing their legs, and maybe even fall asleep with a book open on their lap. But for a long, long time no one came. One gray afternoon, the shop door jingled open. A little girl in a bright yellow raincoat stepped inside, leaving a trail of raindrops behind her. Her boots went squelch, squelch across the floor. Her name was Lila. She wasn't really looking for anything, just exploring while her father talked with a shopkeeper about kitchen chairs. Lila wandered between towering shelves and hidden nooks, touching the edges of soft cushions and poking at rocking horses. Then, behind a heavy red curtain, she found Charlie. First she just stood and stared. He looked a little lonely, a little sleepy, but somehow friendly. Lila climbed up onto Charlie and sat. The chair made a small sound, creak, not from sadness but from stretching, like someone waking up after a long nap. Charlie felt just right. His back was high enough for Lila to pretend she was on a throne. His arms were wide enough to imagine floating down a lazy river. His seat was big enough for curling up with a blanket and a cat. "I like you," Lila whispered, patting the wood. She ran back to her father and tugged at his sleeve. "Can we get the tall chair, please?" Her father raised an eyebrow. "That old thing." But Lila beamed. "It's perfect." Charlie went home with Lila that very afternoon. They squeezed him into the back of the car, rain tapping on the windows the whole way. At home, Lila placed Charlie right in the corner of her room, next to her bookshelf and under the window where the sun would spill in every morning. That night, after brushing her teeth and putting on her pajamas, Lila climbed into Charlie with a thick blue book. Her cat, Marmalade, hopped up too, curling into a ball by her feet. As Lila read about dragons and distant mountains, Charlie listened carefully. The words filled his wooden heart with warmth he had never known before. He wasn't just a chair anymore. He was a throne in a crystal castle, a saddle on a galloping horse, a sturdy boat sailing to hidden islands. Every story Lila read wove a little magic into his arms and legs, into every grain of his wood. Charlie smiled inside. Days turned into weeks, and Charlie became part of every adventure. When Lila needed a brave knight, Charlie was her horse. When Lila needed a wise old wizard, Charlie became her mountain. When Lila just needed a quiet place to watch the rain, Charlie was her shelter. Sometimes Lila's friends came over too. They took turns sitting in Charlie, pretending they were astronauts blasting off into space, or pirates hunting for treasure. Even when Lila's grandparents visited, they would chuckle and say, "What a fine chair you have, Lila. Very fine indeed." Charlie soaked up all the laughter, the whispers, the songs sung softly before bedtime. He grew richer and warmer with every hug, every nap, every silly giggle. He had waited so long, and now he was exactly where he was meant to be. One night, when the moon hung low and the stars blinked sleepily in the sky, Lila curled into Charlie's arms with marmalade and yawned a great big yawn. "Good night, Charlie," she murmured. Charlie, if you were listening very closely, answered with a soft creak, not from oldness but from happiness. He knew he would be there for every new book, every stormy afternoon, every sleepy day and dreaming night. And long, long after Lila grew taller, after her feet touched the floor when she sat, Charlie would still be there. Her faithful chair, full of all the stories they made together. Absolutely. Let's continue Charlie's journey with Lila in future chapters. Here's chapter 6 to begin their new adventure together. As the seasons changed, so did Lila. She grew taller, her legs swinging more easily from the edge of Charlie's seat. But there was something special about their connection. No matter how big Lila got, Charlie always made her feel as if she had all the time in the world to sit, relax, and dream. One quiet afternoon, Lila sat in Charlie, drawing a picture of a big blue ocean. The sun was low, casting soft golden light across the room. Charlie seemed to feel the warmth too, as if he were settling into the memories of all their past adventures together. But today was different. Lila, holding her pencil lightly, looked out the window and sighed. "Charlie," she said softly, "I think it's time for a new adventure. A real one. With more than just stories." Charlie creaked gently, as if he understood. For the first time, Lila thought that maybe, just maybe, Charlie wasn't just meant for sitting. Maybe he was meant for traveling too. The next morning, Lila woke up early. She packed a small bag with snacks, a sketchbook, and Marmalade, who had grown fond of napping in Charlie's seat. With a smile, she hugged Charlie's arm. "We're going on an adventure, Charlie." They headed outside, and Lila's feet carried her toward the tall, winding path leading into the woods. Charlie, though still standing in the living room, felt lighter somehow. It was as if the air around him had begun to stir with excitement. Lila returned to the house every afternoon, and soon, she found herself sharing stories with Charlie. She told him about the mountains she climbed, the river she crossed, and the places her feet had never imagined. Charlie, listening quietly, knew in his heart that he would always be there when Lila needed a break, a soft space to rest and think. It was a few months later, on a rainy afternoon, that Lila whispered something new to Charlie. "What if you could come with me?" she asked. Charlie creaked again, a little louder this time. Lila blinked, and her smile stretched wide. "Let's make it happen," she said, jumping up. With a bit of magic and a lot of heart, Charlie's legs began to stretch. He grew taller, the wood bending and curling as though it were ready for a journey. Lila's eyes widened in surprise and joy. Charlie wasn't just a chair anymore. He was a traveling chair, able to walk and roll alongside her. And so, with Marmalade riding comfortably in the seat, the two friends set off down the path once more. Charlie's legs moved smoothly, like an old friend guiding the way. Together, they traveled through meadows, across rivers, and under the vast sky, always with Lila's laughter and Charlie's steady steps beside her. As the months passed, Charlie grew used to his new legs. He and Lila traveled to towns, beaches, and forests. Sometimes they would stop in small villages, and Lila would ask people if they needed help. Charlie would always offer his sturdy seat to those who needed rest. Lila noticed that while the world was filled with adventures, it was the quiet moments where Charlie truly shone. When the travelers and wanderers sat in him, Charlie didn't just offer a seat. He offered a place for stories to be shared, for laughter to be heard, and for dreams to unfold. Charlie had become more than just a chair. He had become a place where memories were made, no matter where the road led. One evening, as the stars twinkled above and the fire crackled beside them, Lila and Charlie sat in a meadow, the cool night air wrapping around them like a soft blanket. "We've had a lot of adventures, haven't we?" Lila said, resting her head on Charlie's arm. Charlie creaked once, a warm, gentle sound of agreement. Lila smiled and looked up at the night sky, her fingers tracing the shapes of the constellations. And no matter where Lila went or how far she traveled, she knew that Charlie would always be there. Not just as a chair, but as a companion, a friend, and a part of every adventure yet to come. And so, the adventures continued, full of new paths, new stories, and the endless joy of journeys with a chair that could walk.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the adventure, please give us a like, share with your friends, and hit that subscribe button to follow our channel for more magical stories. Join us next time for another exciting journey. Sweet dreams and see you soon.